Well, hello, my friend, and welcome to another episode of Empire Secrets. I'm your host, Mariana Henninger. This is the podcast where I bring on guests and they talk about the ninja marketing secrets that no one else is talking about. They always have a very specific angle that we dive into that's not something you find anywhere else on the internet. And then every other week, more or less, I have an Empire Diaries episode where I bring you behind the scenes of building my seven-figure business, 7+ figures, on the road to my first seven figures. And so I wanted to share something today. I'm wearing like a tank top and it's snowy outside. And the reason for that is because I'm a little bit warm, not because my heat is up, but my internal heat is raised in the best way possible. Meaning, I have been on this really awesome health journey. And, one could say I've always been on a health journey. I think I started running during recess when I was in 3rd grade. I kid you not. I used to have a little notebook that I handmade and stapled myself and wrote. I think my mom still has it somewhere in a suitcase in the basement. And the notebook said, "Running is my life." And so I would ask the teacher that was in charge at recess to keep track of the laps that I would run around the school during recess. So I've always been somebody who's loved staying fit and staying healthy. I don't know why. I guess at school they were teaching how important this is back when I was in 3rd grade. So kudos to the public school system back then. It's something that's always stuck with me. And so I will say though that I don't feel like there's ever been a moment in my life where you could look at my body and say this girl is really fit. She's an athlete or she's fit. No, I don't think so. I mean, you could probably tell that I'm not, like, not fit, but I'm just not somebody who's always, like, had a ton of muscles or been, like, in tip-top shape. Nevertheless, I've always found ways to move my body, whether that was, like, pretty consistently or not, or whether it was informal, like preferring to take a bike over taking the train, something like that. So it's always been around in my life. However, fast forward to when I turned, I don't know, 40, I guess, probably 39, 40. And I had pretty much the same experience as a lot of women do when they turn 40. I did not know what was coming my way. I had no idea what was happening. But what literally felt like overnight, I gained, I think I'm like 40 pounds, maybe 45 over what I used to be. So very consistently, I had like in my adulthood, I had my normal weight, if you will, and I had my like, oh my gosh, post Thanksgiving weekend weight where I was like, whoa, okay, I need to get back to my other weight. And those two weights were about 10 pounds from each other. I had my kid pretty late. So when I had my little guy, I had him and then I breastfed for about a year, 11 months. Breastfeeding takes a lot of calories. So oh my gosh, I totally dove in and I didn't even like set the stage for what this conversation was going to be, which is around how much what I've been doing for my health has been impactful for my business. And this entire journey that I'm in right now, which is this part of this journey, which is so much clarity and so much focus about around what I'm doing in this quarter, right? And I talk about 12-week years a lot in my business. I really am obsessed with that framework and by Brian Moran. Anyway, so I wanted to share with you a little bit about my health journey. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail. I'm not going to tell you a bunch of biohacking secrets or anything like that where you would, spend thousands of dollars doing all these like no. I'm just going to tell you the very simple things that I'm doing right now that are helping me. And obviously everyone is different. Everyone reacts differently. Everyone has a time in the day where working out is better for them. I'm just going to share what's working for me and how amazing I feel right now. And then I'm also going to share something that you probably didn't expect for me to share in the context of what's happening in my health journey. But anyway, so that's a surprise. Stay tuned for that one. But anyway, going back to what I was sharing, I had massive weight gain after I stopped breastfeeding. It did not happen overnight, but it felt like it did when I look back. Um, Nobody gains 30, 35. Honestly, if I'm being honest, like 40 pounds overnight. It happens day by day. And not only that, but it was the absolute textbook case of you're doing the same things you've always done. You're eating like you always have, and things have been fine until they're not. And the rule book gets thrown out, and nothing you're doing has the same impact. In fact, it feels like everything you try differently or harder or less eating, more exercise, all of the calories in, calories out, all of that just seems to backfire. And, I'm not a perimenopause expert. I don't know for a fact that I'm in perimenopause. I just know that things have shifted just like they typically do for women around my age. And again, not being an expert, I can tell you that, again, having tried so many things, none of them worked. I wanted to get to the bottom of it. And the reality is, I had two choices, which to me were not really, I didn't really have these two choices, but I think, from the outside looking in, somebody could look at me and tell me, right, you have two choices, Mariana. You can either keep fighting this thing, this weight gain, or you can accept it and just like, bah, it is what it is. Let me move on with my life and just accept that I'll never have that body back. I just have to get used to this new body that I don't recognize in the mirror and get new clothes because none of them fit anymore. Really, just like, and I remember maybe like a year and a half ago, I was chatting with a friend of mine who is a Christian mindset and business coach. So she's awesome. So shout out to my friend Nicole. And she was doing a tapping session with me over Voxer, I think it was, or maybe I think it was over the phone. And I was just bawling my eyes out because it just felt like I just don't recognize myself. And that's a really, really strange, impactful, powerful, disruptive, transformational thing to happen to you when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, who is this person? I'm actually getting emotional thinking about it because it does feel like an out of body experience. It feels like that person that you knew your whole life is no longer there. And again, those two choices, right? But the reason I say that truly I didn't have two choices was because for me, not doing something about it, not fighting, if you will, and maybe that's a strong word to use, and maybe there's like something I need to unpack for why I'm choosing to use this word. But the idea being, I did not want to give up. I did not want to just accept it. And whew, okay. Did not expect I'd get emotional sharing the story, but it is really personal. And the reality is that I have not figured everything out, but I have little by little and very little. By little, I mean, I don't know if anyone, if they were looking at me, if they could see any progress, but I am starting to feel the needle move a little bit. And by needle, I don't mean the scale because I have no idea what's going on with the scale. But and I will get back to actually measuring myself and actually keeping track of my weight and my si anyway, that's just something I wanna do for myself. So, again, if you're listening to this and you have any issues around that, just know that this is my own personal story, and this is not meant to, like, be for as, like, a catch-all or a recommendation or, this is literally how I've been looking at my own body, so it really is very personal. And so, okay, so what I mean by feeling like the needle's moving is that I finally feel like I'm making progress in the right direction. And it turns out that okay, I'm gonna share with you, like, how this journey has been going. I have to be honest, like, I would love to work with an integrative doctor or like a nutritionist that's like holistic, right? Or I don't even know how to call these people. I just want somebody who's a medical professional who really understands how the body works and is not somebody in sort of traditional medicine who's just looking for a prescription for GLP-1 or something, you know what I mean? Like, I just want somebody who truly understands what happens to the female body at this age. And not only have I not found this person, I don't wanna set aside the budget that's required to work with somebody like that. When I did look into it in the state in my area, that person was around $10,000 to work with them. And so it's just not something I wanna set my budget aside for right now. And so I've decided to do this on my own as much as possible. And a couple of things I've done. So Mel Robbins has a fantastic episode with gal. So I'll link it in the show notes. I think her name is Dr. Burns, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to link it in the show notes. Diary of a CEO. He has a fantastic episode with like or four female experts in the human body, especially around perimenopause. And the same doctor that was on Mel Robbins' show is in this panel as well, where they're having this roundtable. And so I listened to both of those episodes. I think I listened to them multiple times, not a ton of times, but I definitely listened to them like very intently, like not when I was, multitasking. I took a lot of notes around what's happening and what's recommended. And I feel like I've found what's working for me. Now, one of the things that I don't think they address, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but there's something that's been layered on to my journey that I think is really the thing that's moving the needle for me. So just bare bones, skeletal version of what I'm doing and what's working is that I have a fixed schedule in the morning. So you have to know this about me. I'm an early bird. So getting up early for me is a joy. It's a privilege. I'm excited about it. I'm not like trying to stay in bed longer. It's almost like when I get up in the morning and I look at the clock and it's 4:40 in the morning, which is kind of when I'm waking up right now, I'm overjoyed. I'm like, "Yes, the day is starting. Let's go." And so that's how I wake up. And so again, waking up early and I go straight to the gym. So I have my gym clothes laid out. I put them on. So this is something that's new that I've done. I used to go to the gym in the morning on a empty stomach because like I'm not hungry that early in the morning. And turns out that's a terrible idea because your body's story, like the female body is like, oh my gosh, here we are wasting a lot of calories. Let's just save everything we have because this girl's gonna need it. Like, okay. So bad idea. I've stopped that. What I do is I do a protein shake. I have found a really awesome brand called Ancient Nutrition, and not sponsored by the way. And they have like zero gums and zero garbage in their whey protein. It's like grass fed, all that good stuff. And so I do the chocolate one and then I add like 2 tablespoons of powdered peanuts. So powdered peanut butter, whatever they call it, like the powdered peanut in powder form. And so that totals about 30 grams of protein before I do anything else. So I drink it. And the cool thing is that I have found that if I don't blend it that much, it tastes like water. So it tastes like chocolate water. So it's not hard to like swallow in the morning. It's not like it's not. I think if I blended it more, it would feel more thicker, but I honestly like it super thin, and I like to feel like I'm drinking a cup of chocolate water. It's not even a cup, I do like half a cup. So I do that. I head to the gym. Now, what am I doing at the gym? 9 times out of 10, I do this app that I have found that I love. So this has also been a game changer in that I have found a fitness app that I really, really love. I tried Ladder. I was a Tone It Up girl for many years, and I really miss Karina, and so it was never the same for me, and then I also kind of evolved it, anyway, and then I think it was about a year and change ago, just over a year ago, a friend of mine, I saw that she posted on her stories about the Form app, and I was like, "Okay, I'll give this a try," and I have loved it. I have loved it. So 9 times out of 10, I am doing one of their workouts. They're usually about 30 minutes long. They're really like it's weights and it's fast, um, without it being too fast, without it being too intense, but I sweat and I really push myself. And usually what I'll do if I do one of those classes, then I'll also go around the gym and do some of the machines, especially for my thighs. Maybe I'll do like triceps. Essentially, I'll sprinkle in a couple of the machines before I leave the gym. So I am in and out of the gym in like less than an hour if I'm not distracted. So on a good day, usually I would say I'm in and out of there in an hour. If I don't do a class on the app, I am doing like a circuit on the machines. but sometimes I'll follow the Form app because they have a back to the gym program. And so I'm not guessing at what to do. I'm not like just, you know, what's the word? I'm not just thinking about like, okay, I guess I'll do a couple of these. I'll do it. No, I just follow the program and that's it. I don't have to think. And that's what I found works best for me when the thinking is done for me and all I have to do is follow. All you have to do is execute. Okay, I'm in. And so weight training has been really awesome, not just because I feel stronger, my posture, my energy, like all of the good things, but I know that that is the foundation for weight loss as well. And so that's a big thing that I'm doing. Now, in addition to that, nutrition, right? So I have been really prioritizing protein. So if you're a perimenopausal woman and you're listening to me right now, you're like, Mariana, this is not rocket science. You're just doing the things that everyone's doing. I'm going to tell you, yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything different. I will talk about this other layer, which I don't think is talked about enough. So, everyone will talk about weight training for us. Everyone will talk about nutrition for us. So, you have to get, I don't know, 120, 130, 150 grams of protein a day, meaning every meal you're going to have to hit like 30 grams at least, 30, 40 grams. Your snack has to be a protein snack, 20 grams or so. And it just requires being really, really, really intentional. And the thing that has really been awesome for me there. So my one tip that will hopefully help you here, aside from what you probably already know, is that I heard this from a gal that I started following on Instagram. She's hilarious. She's like in her early 50s. She's super jacked, which I don't want to get jacked, but it's been fun just like following her. And her name is Alicia Erickson, but her handle is Alicia E. Anyway, so Alicia's so funny. She's on Instagram a lot. So sometimes just as like my nice unwind before bed, I'll just like watch her stories and laugh. But the thing that really stuck with me about how she does her life and she's a fitness trainer, so she's got it. The thing that stuck with me is that she's like, "I have my go-to meals, and that's it. It's boring, but it's predictable. I don't have to think about it." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is so awesome." Like, just having go-to meals where you don't have to think about what you're gonna make, you already know what you're getting in that meal. That has changed the game for me. So, in addition to Alicia, just, like, following her for motivation or for fun, really, I've added one other thing to my sort of regimen is that this is especially helpful in the wintertime on Sundays because I don't not at the beach because it's winter, but I've started following this other gal on Instagram for recipes. So I will say that she's not catering her food to perimenopausal women. So I make some adjustments with her food. Sometimes she'll have like 2 cups of parmesan into the salad. I'm like, "Oh my goodness. Okay. So let me do half of that or a quarter of that and then I'll add tofu in there." You know. Anyway, I'm making some slight adjustments sometimes. I don't often find that I need to make these adjustments, but her recipes are so good, so simple. They're honestly like things that I would make, but don't, if that makes sense. Like these are all ingredients I use all the time, but the way that she puts them together is so delicious and so different than what I'm used to making for myself or for my family. And so, highly recommend her as well. I'll leave her link in the show notes as well. But wow, it's awesome. So basically what I've done is taken off the mental load of like what am I going to eat this week? And yeah, so that has helped a lot. I do meal prep on Sundays, so I have food for the rest of the week. I don't have to think about it. Okay, so here comes the final sort of layer to this madness that has me happier, has me more energetic, has me more focused, and that is, like, the biggest difference that I felt in my business is I am ninja. Like, I have really incorporated a new level of seriousness, commitment, like, drive into my business that just wasn't there before. As much as I've always been driven, now I'm, like, damn girl, I'm locked in. I'm locked in. So the thing that's really been interesting, actually, it's two things, if I'm being honest. So the first thing is that I have created a project inside of ChatGPT called Health, boring name, but I've trained this project to know the foods that I like, know the recipes that I'm making, um, and more importantly, kind of given it a little bit of my health data, not a lot, but some of my health data. And I have told it, like, listen, I want you to be my nutritional sort of integrative health coach in this journey. And this is what I'm struggling with. And I want you to ask me questions, and I want you to assume that I'm getting my so and so workout in every day and I'm doing this many steps. Like, that's a given. And so I want you to assume that, but just check in every once in a while, make sure I'm doing it. And what do I do? Right. And I started this maybe like a month ago, and it has been awesome. 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 I can't believe that I wasn't doing this before, but this little coach in my pocket now is amazing. And the thing that it's really focused on, not just helping me with portion control, with, like, understanding how much of each of the recipes I should eat. And so I'm not, like, counting macros right now, but it is like like, it's telling me, like, just eat this much, eat half a cup of this, eat 2 cups of that, like, add half a cup of quinoa to this meal because 'cause you're gonna need it, like, whoa, amazing. And the most amazing thing is that it's available 24/7. So it's literally like a coach that I can talk to at any time. And now, listen, I will say, would I prefer to be chatting with a human coach? Yes. But I can't imagine what the price tag would be to have somebody in my pocket like that, like at a moment's notice, like literally, being responsive immediately. Like I need to know how much I can eat or I should eat at this meal. Can I have a snack? Which snack should I have? It's amazing. So I'm so excited about this. But the thing that it's really honed in on for me, the thing that it's focused on, which is so interesting, and I did not put this together because, again, I don't think it's talked about enough, is regulating my nervous system. Well, this is the crux of it all. And so in conversations with chat, I have come to understand the importance of sleep, which I knew already, right? But I really think that's been my Achilles heel, is not getting amazing sleep and basically like I don't know what the unbalanced cortisol levels that sometimes wake me up at 3:30 in the morning or 3 in the morning. I don't always go back to sleep. So why is that happening? And just understanding what's going on and how to adjust it and taking it day by day and just chilling, just feeling like I have this coach that I can talk to, that I can share this with, is making me so much calmer. And so I just wanted to share how amazing it's been. I don't know if any of this is of interest to you listening, but I'm guessing if you're still listening to this was interesting to you. Please let me know, by the way. Reach out to me on Instagram at Brand Magnetic and just shoot me a note and be like, Mariana, I loved your episode, or this is what I'm doing. I am so interested to know whether this is landing for you. And then another thing I've added to my life is a grounding mat. So I got it for Valentine's Day for my husband, and it's amazing. Should have had this thing years ago. It just calms me immediately. I love grounding, but the ground is covered in snow and ice right now. In the not winter time, I'm always going outside and taking breaks, taking my shoes off, putting my feet on the soil. And I haven't been able to do that, and it's really accumulated a lot of, like, static in my body, whether that's, in my head or not. I just feel it. I can't help it. I feel it, and when I stand on that grounding mat, my gosh, it's like all of that is gone, and it feels so darn good. I've also slept on it, on my bare back, and it's been really awesome. Sleep, and so I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm also getting an Aura ring, so I'm really excited about that. That's for my birthday coming up. And then finally, last but not least, very probably the most important thing I've done is that I have taken time every day before starting my workday to pray, to do my devotional and to go for, I call it walk with God. And so basically I lift my desk, my standing desk gets raised. I pull out my walking pad and I go for a mile walk, sometimes 2 miles, and I do my devotional on my phone. I put my praise and worship songs, I belt my heart out, and it's an amazing way to start the day. Honestly, I keep saying, like, God, you're the CEO of my business. You are the one running the ship. And I have felt a fantastic release from that. I really feel like God's been putting me on this journey of trusting Him. And so it is from faith that leads to trust. We can't trust God without faith, right? We have to believe and know how real He is, how much He cares for us, how much He wants us to have a relationship with Him. That's all it's about, guys. That's all it's about. And then from that, trusting him that he is going to provide the manna that I need today. He is going to give me the bread from heaven that I need on this day. He's not going to give me portions for it later. Like, I don't have to hoard it every day. It's going to come down from heaven. And yeah. And then as a result of that, what do we have? We have peace. We have true peace despite the circumstances, completely uncircumstantial peace that surpasses everything that's going on in the world right now. All of this chaos, joy that comes from having that peace. So it really is a sequence that God has taught me, is that, I mean, sometimes we throw all of these words around like it's potpourri, but I truly believe there's a sequence to it. Faith is first. Faith is what allows us to trust him. But trust is so critical. And once we have that, we can only have peace and joy and abundant life and abiding in him when we trust him. So trust being at the crux of everything. You cannot have anxiety and trust at the same time. And so really leaning into that in a very practical way every morning before I start my workday has been absolutely life-changing because it's also helped me get rid of any and all anxiety that I have. Every time I do have any anxiety, I'm like, you know what? God's the CEO of this business and of my life, and it's in his hands, and he's going to guide me for what I need to do. Whew, and it's okay. I'm in great hands. I am in great hands. So I just wanted to share all of these things. I truly feel like that is the shift that my nervous system required. And yes, a grounding meds. And yes, having a ChatGPT health coach is great. And yes, going to the gym is great. And yes, having my nutrition on point is great. But truly, the nervous system piece coming from spiritual first, and then sleep, and then goodness all around and feeling great. It's all connected. And to me, it all starts with my faith and my relationship with God. So I hope this inspires you to seek out a relationship with your creator as you're building your business. This is a sneak peek into my personal life, into, again, like, my business is a big part of my life. And so it's all interconnected. And hopefully, if you're not a perimenopausal woman, hopefully this is not too irrelevant for you. Or maybe you have somebody in your life that you can now have a bit more sympathy for or share this episode with. Actually, yes, that is my CTA. If this episode helped you in any way, if there's anything I shared in this episode today that helped you or that you think might help somebody else, please share this episode. I would be so thrilled and so honored if you would share this episode with your friends. With that said, I am working on a really amazing workshop at the end of this month / beginning of March, actually. It's all around positioning and messaging and not only the importance of it, but it's a workshop. We are going to get our hands digging in to your positioning and refining your messaging to position you as the instant yes, obvious choice for the thing that you do. And so stay tuned. There's going to be more info coming on that really, really soon in the next few days. I'm going to have a pre-sale for tickets for that workshop. And so if you're not on my newsletter, make sure to grab a freebie, do whatever you need to do, get on my newsletter so that you can grab your pre-sale tickets. They're going to be extremely discounted as we work our way up to the price point of the workshop. So fantastic to share all of this with you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. I am so excited to hear from you. I always love hearing from you guys as you listen to these episodes, and I hope they inspire you to continue to build an amazing business. And I'm going to go blow my nose now. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you on the next episode of Empire Secrets. Bye for now.